You know, I have always been fascinated by sound, and as much as music and singing have interested me, I have also been equally fascinated by the sounds associated with spoken language. I have always wondered about what are the similarities and differences between music and singing on one hand and spoken languages on the other hand. Now, if you too are thinking about these things on the same lines, then keep watching this video because we'll be talking about the exact same thing in today's episode. Hi, I'm Anuja and welcome to Out of the Shruti Box. Whatever I have observed about music and spoken language, I have concluded that there are two factors that are common to both. First is pitching, and second is timing. What exactly do we mean by pitching? Now, pitching means pitch variation that happens when you're talking or when you're singing. Now, any human being, when they talk, okay, there is definitely pitch variation happening in their speech. And pitch variation doesn't happen only and only if you're a robot, because then you will talk in the same pitch like this and it will continue in this monotonous way. Monotony or the same pitch is something that human speech is not tuned to. Okay, you need to remember that pitch is different from volume. Pitch has to do with frequencies, while volume has to do with the loudness, the amplitude, right? So this is high pitch and this is low pitch, and volume, this is soft volume, this is loud volume. The same pitch can have a different kind of volume. So you just need to remember pitching is different from the increase or decrease in volume. Now, what is the function of pitching in spoken language? In spoken language, the change in pitching can change the nature of the sentence, the type of the sentence you're speaking, you're expressing, right? It changes the expression. You could have the exact same sentence, the exact same words, okay? So, for example, you have these words. Now, if I say it in this way, she has a mobile. What I'm doing is she has a mobile. I'm lowering the pitch in the end. She has a mobile. Now, when you do this, essentially you're saying that the statement is assertive in nature and there's a full stop in the end. She has a mobile. Okay? But now if I change the pitching, to say a higher frequency in the end, she has a mobile. This changes the whole expression of the statement. See, the words are the exact same, but she has a mobile. This kind of pitch change, the higher pitch in the end, it just shows that the statement is exclamatory in nature. It has an exclamation mark in the end. There's this assertive factor versus the excitement factor. How does pitching work in music? Now, in music, if you're a student of music, you are conventionally told that there are 7 notes in music, right? These 7 notes are nothing but separate pitches, separate frequencies. If you take Hindustani music, you have sa re ga ma pa dha ni. These are the separate 7 pitches or 7 swaras. So obviously when you are humming a tune or singing a tune, this tune is made up of these 7 notes, the combination of these 7 notes. By manipulating the notes in a tune, you could really change the mood of the tune. Let's take an example. I'll sing a specific tune, okay, which is sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. And then I will manipulate one note, which is re, and then let's see how this tune sounds. Sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. There was a certain kind of mood change, right? So sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. This felt a little hopeful, joyful, playful. But sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa, this suddenly felt like, there was some kind of anxiety creeping in, some uncertainty, right? So one small change can totally change the mood of your tune. Now let's talk about the second factor, which is timing. How does timing operate in spoken language, or what is the function of timing in spoken language? Well, timing is determined by how much of time you spend on a syllable, or it also comes into play when you operate with pauses, like the pauses you take in a sentence, right? So when I say how much time you spend on a syllable, for example, if I say she was far away versus she was far away, when I spend a lot of time on you are actually changing the intensity, you are increasing the intensity of the expression, right? She was far away, which means she was really far away. At the same time, when you manipulate the pauses, the timing in the form of pauses in between the syllables or in between words, you are actually changing the meaning of the sentence. The same words can then have different meanings because the punctuations, the pauses used are different. Let's take, for example, these words, this sentence. I could say it like, woman, without her, man is nothing. Okay, this has one meaning. I could also say it as, woman without her man is nothing. Now this has the exact opposite meaning of the first sentence, right? The same words, but the pauses change the meaning completely. What about timing in music or timing in singing? Well, timing can change the kind of mood or the feel, or it can change the tune in itself. The set of notes could be the same, but the tune could sound very different and unique with the change in timing. Let's take, for example, this set of notes. Sa re ga ma pa. I could change the timing and change the feel. Sa re ga ma pa. This gave a little inquisitive, a little anxious kind of feel. Sa re ga ma pa. But if I sing the same tune as sa re ga ma pa, this is a little assertive in nature. Sa re ga ma pa. And what exactly have I changed? Nothing but the time, the emphasis on each note. Okay, so we looked at the similarities between spoken language and singing or music. But why is it still that we say that spoken language and singing sound different? What are the differences? The difference lies between the pitch variation, the amount of pitch variation, and the amount of time given to sustain a pitch, the amount of pitch sustenance. Okay, so that is the main difference. In a spoken language, the pitch variation is not very drastic or dramatic, and at the same time the pitch sustenance is also not much. Also, you do not necessarily give a spoken sentence a particular kind of meter. Let's take, for example, the word hello. If I just say hello, it doesn't sound musical. But what if I manipulate the pitch variation, I make it dramatic, and I also manipulate the pitch sustenance. So if I go like hello, immediately it will sound musical, right? What have I done? Pitch variation, low, and also sustenance, low. I've sustained it. So that makes your spoken language sound musical. Let's take the example of meter, okay? So when I talk about meter, it's an aspect of time. Let's take the example of a random sentence, okay? My name is Dolly. Do you want to meet me and go to the park? Now this sounded very speech-like, okay? Nothing musical typically. But if I want to make it musical, I would maybe add a particular kind of meter to it. My name is Dolly. Do you want to meet me and go to the park? See, immediately there was something very, very musical about it. So, adding this kind of meter, pitch variation, pitch sustenance, it just turns your spoken language into being very musical. Generally, what happens is while you're talking to kids, you make your spoken language very musical in nature because that's how you catch their attention. So you will speak like, once upon a time, there was a princess who lived in her own castle. So you make it very dramatic, you make it very slow, and you emphasize on the words, and the flow typically becomes musical. When it comes to music theory, pitching or pitch variation is associated with the concept of melody, while the concept of timing is associated with rhythm. In Hindustani music, the concept of rag is thus associated with pitching, or it's the melodic structure. And the concept of tal and lay, these two concepts are related to the concept of rhythm and thus associated with timing. I had previously made videos on the concept of rag and tal, and if you would like to know about it, you might want to go and check those videos. So that's it for today's episode. I hope you found this episode informative enough. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up and share it with all your like-minded friends. If you're new to this channel, then welcome. Please do subscribe to my channel, check the other videos, and also if you would like to receive notifications from this channel, do click the bell icon. I will see you in my coming episodes. Till then, peace.